fufu and soup today, the Liberian way. So if you know me, you know I like to have a lot of different kind of meat in my food. So today I'm really cold. I'm a little bit down with the weather, so I decided to make me some fufu soup. Pepper soup. We call it pepper soup in Liberia. So I have the reason why we actually call it pepper soup, because you do put a lot of pepper inside when you cook, like real pepper, spicy pepper. So I have my turkey, my dry turkey, and my pig feet. You know I love pig feet. I'm just gonna add it to the pot. I'm gonna leave my smoked turkey out for later on because it's already cooked and yummy. So I don't need to cook it too long. So I'm gonna put it in the soup after. And I also have my dry fish here. I will also leave it out and put it in the soup after. And I have my chicken gill here. I'm gonna add it to the pot. Make sure you get all this washed and clean before you start to cook anything. Because the chicken gills, I don't know, I wanted to show you. I think I took everything out. But there is some kind of yellowish, gumby thing on this gill that you have to remove. But other than that, you're good. Then I have my pigtail. I'm gonna add to my pot. And I'm gonna add my pepper. Remember, it's pepper soup, so you have to put enough pepper inside. And I'm also, you know, this anti-pepper. Never cook without anti-pepper. So I'm gonna add me some anti-pepper. Get a spoon. Put a tablespoon of anti-pepper in here. This is really cool. And in Africa, in Liberia, let's see, just to be exact or precise. In Liberia, when you have the cold, we cook the pepper soup for you, because we believe that it's gonna clear all your sinus and everything, and you'll feel better. And I believe that too, because I've lived that life. Once you do that, it really goes away. Since I don't have tomato paste today, I have this chili sauce here. I'm gonna use just to give this soup that you know, nice brownish, relish, beautiful, sexy color. Oh, did I just say sexy? All right. And then I'm gonna add in my okra. And everybody know okra. You can find it in any store in the States here. You can find some cut up like this one. And then you can also find some not cut up, the whole okra. So I'm gonna put this in here. And then I'm gonna put my, you know, I cook with this. I'm gonna put some in here. So what my plan is, I'm gonna put some of this chicken stock in here, and I'm gonna let it cook on the stove on low heat until all the water, or almost all the water, dries out. Then before I will add in the rest of these ingredients, and then add more chicken stock in there. Now the reason why I like to let the water dry out is because it brings the flavor together and make the ingredients that you have in your pot, like your fish or whatever you decide to cook on that day, it season it good and it's well cooked. And then the rest of the water that you will add there later on will just be just to make this soup. Oh, my mouth. So I like to add this just for flavor. Cilantro. I like the paste. You can use the leaves too, but the paste is easier for me. But I think I'm out. That's okay. I have just enough for today. Yeah, that's okay. So I'm gonna put in some. Remember, If you're cooking Liberian food and you don't put Maggi cube in there, you're wasting your time, because it's not a Liberian food. You have to put that Maggi cube in there. That's just it. So I'm gonna put 1 Maggi cube in here, just to pop all my ingredients and just bring that all that flavor together and just make it taste so good. Because if it doesn't taste good, then you know it's hard to eat. So for our soup, pepper soup we call it, it's always very, very rich. Very, very rich. I'm gonna cut up some tomatoes just to give this soup that little bit of thickness. You don't want the pepper soup to be too thick, then that's not pepper soup. You want it to be, you know, light, so it'll be easy to go down your throat. I'm gonna put in some tomatoes, maybe just 2 of these tomatoes. I don't need a lot of them. I'm not a tomato person, especially when I'm cooking pepper soup. I don't like to eat too much tomatoes in my soup. And I hope that these tomatoes will just, you know, mix together and melt in my soup. So I have everything I need to put in here. The only thing I need to do now is cover it up and set it on the stove. Remember, I do not cook salt, but I have a lot of spice that I can use that replace salt. So I'm gonna get me some spice. Put it in my soup just for that flavor. So today I'm gonna put I'm gonna use black pepper, garlic, lemon, thyme, and all seasoning. Now if you know me, I never do any measurement when it comes to cooking, because that's how I learned to cook. That's how my mother taught me, and that's how it always been. I just eyeball it, and I know it will be okay. So I just eyeball it. Now I'm already seasoning my soup, so I won't have to do it later on. Excuse me. Woo! It's spice. I always sneeze when I mess with spices. A little bit of time. And that's it. I'm gonna cover my soup up and set it on the stove and let it boil down. Turn the stove on to 5. And I'm gonna put this on the stove and let it boil down. So while I wait for this to boil down, because I want all the water in it, like 98% of the water in it, to boil down, then I will add my bottom stock in there and let this soup just bring out that flavor. So while I wait for it, I'm gonna show you how my fufu is gonna be prepared, how I prepare my fufu. So I usually get a bowl. This is what we call fufu. It's a powder looking. It's very powder rich. It's made of the cassava, or what you call it, tapioca. Yeah, it's made of it. The root of the tapioca. That's what we use. The turn it into this lovely dust, and it's really good. It's not the traditional fufu that we have in Liberia. The traditional fufu is handmade. You take the tapioca from under the ground and blend it or grate it. Something we call grate. We got a grater we use to grate it, and then we'll put it in a little container and set it away. It takes about maybe a week or 2 to make that for that process to be done. But this is the machine made one, but it still tastes good, you know. So this is it. I have maybe 2 or 3 cups in here. I think it'll be enough for me and my husband. I'm not sure about my son. Maybe I should add a little more there. Maybe he might change his mind today, because he says I love the fufu when I make it. So he loves to eat it. So I'm gonna put some water in here. I usually use warm water because I'm always cold. So it doesn't matter what kind of water you use. So I put the water in there and I just mix it with my hand. You don't want it to be too thick, and you also don't want it to be too soft. So like I said, I boil the water, but this is for 3 cups of fufu flour. This is about 3 cups of water in here. And so, oh look, I got myself all messed up from this fufu. That's the thing about cooking in the kitchen. If you don't use apron, that's how you get messy. Tell that to me. I should use apron. So yeah, I'm just gonna mix it until everything turns creamy. There is no lump of fufu in there. And then I'm gonna set it aside and let the water set on top of it. When all the water gets on top, I'm gonna pour out the water, put it in the microwave and microwave it. You could cook it on the stove too if you want. People do that. And you also don't have to take the water out too if you want. People do that. For me personally, I do take the water out. So I'm gonna see. There's no lumpiness in it anymore. It's just all creamy, like porridge. And I'm just gonna set it aside and leave it until I'm about to, when my soup is all cooked and ready. Then before I will put this in the microwave and cook it. Might take like 5 or 10 minutes. It's not hard to cook at all. I will show you that process when I'm done. So I'm gonna let my fufu boil. I'm gonna let my pot boil and let my fufu settle down. Let the water get out of it. And while I'm waiting, I'm gonna posh my Benin seed. So if you know what Benin seed is, we call it Benin seed, but I think they call it here sesame seeds. Smells very good when you make it. I'm just gonna like posh it. I'm gonna set it on the stove on very low heat too, because it's very easy for the sesame seeds to get burned. So you want to posh it on a very low heat, and that's what I'm about to do. So while we wait for the soup, I'm gonna posh my sesame seed. We posh it very nicely, and then we blend it, and it turns into a paste looking like. And we put it on the fufu and mix it in the soup and eat it. The flavor that it brings out, oh my gosh, it's one of my favorite seeds. So I'm gonna just, and what you do, you have to keep stirring it until it's ready, because if you don't stir it, it's so soft, it will get all burned up, and you don't want that, because it turns really bitter when you burn it. So watch out for the next video. I will show you how everything comes together on the next video.